naughty. Who doesn't love a good party? If it's on the true equal logic, no matter what, we gon' swallow it. Trust no one, win everybody. Kissing the kid with Bacardi. And pay to the sexiest model. He gon' tell us on the hobbies. I got 22.
It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it, and I know it. It does not matter who the host is. Yep, it does not. It truly doesn't. Anyways, today's Wednesday, June the 29th of 2022, day 180th of the year, and only 185 days left to go. Anyways, how are you? I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods. We are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yes, hanging out with our friends at Radio Big, just for the sake of doing so, because that's always important. Anyway, so how was the last 23? Did you have a good time? Did you do the things that you deemed important? Did you do the things that you would want to be braggalicious about? Maybe that's the other aspect of what we need to talk about as we are hanging and banging, doing the things that we get to do. So all that kind of fun stuff. Anyways, let's get into it right away on this lovely hump day on what is going on inside of the world. By the way, if you want to be able to interact with the show, the easiest way to do so is by going to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com, and that's where we hang out. Also, if you want to take a look at what's going on, depending if you're listening to the radio side, the easiest way to do this is to go to safetyfm.com and click on the section that says visual radio, which to me that sounds like TV, but we call it visual radio. Anyways, let's talk about what was trending, because that's always important stuff on what we saw that was trending over and over and over again. So let's talk about it. Hashtag Hocus Pocus 2 was trending on Tuesday after Disney Plus released a new trailer for the upcoming Halloween flick. Hashtag bad names for dating sites landed on Twitter top 10 trends yesterday. Tweets included Screwfix, Cousins Only, Trolls Are Us, McCupid, and That's a Lot of Baggage. That's all stuff that was on there yesterday. Also trending yesterday, if you did take a look, the king of all media, Howard Stern, was trending after hinting and tossing his name into the ring for the 2024 election, presidential election, that is, just in case. And also, Elmo was trending yesterday after the Muppets got its first COVID-19 vaccine. More about that here and in just a little bit if you want to talk about it. Interesting stuff, I always think, in regards of what is going on. So let's talk about what's going to be down the lay to the land, just in case if you're not familiar with how this gig thing works. It's kind of the way in this format. We talk about safety in the news and safety. And then we bring in some professional broadcasters for them to tell us what exactly is going on, because I definitely do not fall into that professional category. They give us their world of what is going on. We come back and then tie it all in a nice little bow. We hang out for about 60 minutes together. Yeah, 60 minutes. Not the show, just in case. And then we kind of call it a day and move on from there. And then we get to do it all over and over and over and over again. What do you think? Yep, a lot of stuff. Anyways, seems to be a lot of motivation yesterday when we were talking about cult-like organizations, and I did say where some questions came in about that, so I thought it was some interesting times, that is for sure. So, anyways, I don't know. Did I call it a cult? I don't remember calling it a cult, but hey, whatever. Did I? Who knows? Anyways, it doesn't matter what I said. It really doesn't. With that being said, anyways, I think it's time for us to talk about what is going on inside of the world of the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. President Biden is unveiling a significant increase in U.S. forces in Europe. Speaking in Madrid at the two-day NATO summit, Biden revealed new military installations, troop movements, and equipment shipments. Biden said the United States and our allies are stepping up and proving that NATO is needed now more than ever. The president said a permanent headquarters for the 5th Army Corps in Poland will be established. The U.S. Secret Service says it is willing to testify about Tuesday's bombshell January 6 Capitol attack allegations made by a former White House aide. Peter Alexander reports on Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony about then-President Trump's behavior.
The lead agent, Bobby Engel, and the driver of that presidential limousine, the SUV, are prepared to testify under oath that neither man was assaulted and that Mr. Trump never lunged for the steering wheel. Again, we haven't heard from either of these individuals under oath publicly.
Hutchinson's testimony came during a last-minute hearing held by the House committee investigating the attack. Trump denied the allegations on his Truth Social platform. 2 Mexican nationals are facing charges after at least 51 migrants died inside a truck that was abandoned in a Texas heat wave. Mark Mayfield with the story.
State officials said most of the 39 men and 12 women found in the semi-trailer in an industrial area on the outskirts of San Antonio were Mexican citizens. Authorities described stacks of bodies inside the tractor-trailer, and others, some hot to the touch, had collapsed nearby. Immigration and Customs Enforcement called the scale of the tragedy unprecedented in the loss of life. I'm Mark Mayfield.
The White House says using federal lands for abortion facilities could have dangerous ramifications. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre told reporters aboard Air Force One Tuesday that a proposal to put abortion facilities on federal lands is well-intentioned, but could put both patients and providers at risk. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Laura Macon-Isherwood. Leaders from NATO nations and partners are meeting in Madrid for a 2-day summit. The alliance is expected to issue a statement declaring Russia a direct threat to the group's security. The murder of a supporter of India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has sparked civil unrest in Rajasthan state, and Uber drivers in Australia will be paid a minimum wage and have the right to appeal dismissals in a landmark agreement.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
A storm system near the Caribbean could become the season's first hurricane. Several tropical storm warnings and watches are in effect for the region. So far, the system hasn't become organized enough yet to be called a tropical storm. That's expected to change later in the week, as forecasters believe the system could intensify as it moves into the southwestern Caribbean Sea. Around 700 firefighters will be trying to get a line around a growing wildfire in Northern California's Gold Country this morning. Chief Brian Estes with CAL FIRE says conditions look to be more favorable fighting the Rice's fire.
We will see some slight humidity recovery, and that'll be, really critical to our suppression efforts, and our temperatures will obviously go down.
The fire is burning in Nevada County, about 75 miles northeast of Sacramento. It started Tuesday afternoon and grew quickly past 500 acres. It's uncontained. Another wave of primary elections have been held in several states. In New York, Governor Kathy Hochul cruised to victory in the Democratic primary.
Are we having fun yet? Are we having fun yet tonight, Democrats?
Looks like the Republican nomination for governor of New York will not go to Andrew Giuliani, the son of former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani. He conceded to Representative Lee Zeldin. AAA says the 4th of July weekend will be one of the busiest times at airports all year. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg addressed growing concerns from travelers over reaching their destinations with delays and cancellations soaring.
There are going to be challenges, but we're watching it closely, and we're talking to the airlines every day about their responsibility to make sure that they can accommodate any issues that weather or other curveballs might throw at them.
The perfect storm of staffing shortages, bad weather, and high demand makes planning ahead a must to avoid the chaos. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
So, do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now? That live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you. This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
Oh, self-imploding in airwaves just doesn't sound like the right thing to be talking about. But hey, I guess that's the stuff that happens from time to time. Anyways, it is currently 16 minutes past the top of the hour, depending on where the hell you're hanging out. So you know how that goes. Anyways, we are still broadcasting across the multiverse that is known as Safety FM. This is the Rated R Safety Show, just in case if you got lost in the sequence, because those things do tend to happen. Anyway, so let's start talking about what is going on inside of the hit list or the shit list, depending on where you want to take a look at it. So let's take it from the very top. Remember that rogue space junk that hit the moon in early March? Well, when analysts believed that it was part of a Chinese rocket, but the Chinese said that it had nothing, had something else. Had to be something else. Well, NASA has finally gotten the satellite images of the impact, and regardless of who refuses to admit that caused the issue, the impact created a double crater, suggesting that it was heavy on both ends. Whereas the rocket would be the heaviest on the bottom end. Researchers continue to study the information available to then determine exactly what caused the impact. Questions, I may add, in regards to there. So just think about that one. Anyways, a new study commissioned by Chinet, the paper plate people, shows that the majority of Americans want to hang out with their friends at least 4 times a month. Really? I mean, with 57% respondents indicating of such, I'm just saying. Other findings included 31% say that they don't see friends and loved ones enough. 74% say that spending time with pals is just as healing as therapy sessions. And 66% say that hanging out with them reduces their stress. Typically, people hang out with groups of 4. Common conversation topics include reminiscing on memories, discussing major life changes, and what people have seen recently on TV or at the movies. So, is that what you sit around and do? Do you hang out in groups of 4 and reminisce about past lives? Because that's the funny part. And I shouldn't say past lives because people are going to get confused on what I meant. I don't mean like past lives, like actual lives. I mean past in your life is really the way that I look at it. Because maybe it's sitting around and talking about thoughts of future self. Or imagine if you sat around and talked about different timelines. What? Yeah, I said that out loud.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so take a listen to this. A tree in Chile is in the running to be the oldest currently alive in the world. There currently goes a bristletone pine in central California White Mountains that is believed to have the first sprouted 4,850 years ago. Now, a cypress in Alisur Milenario region of Chile is being analyzed, and it's so wide that it's nearly impossible to get to a core sample that makes it all the way to the middle. But the researchers carrying it now have confirmed that there is at least 2,465 rings. Statistical models that can help determine early growth rates suggest that it's 5,000 years old with 80% probability. Based on what we know, researchers say that it's most likely 5,484 years old. The Wall Street Journal reports. So, it's kind of interesting on how tree has rings, and you can determine on how much, how many years it's been. Do you think that people have rings as well, that you can determine how much usage? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just a question to ask out loud. Anyways, Menzies has its youngest member, Eva, a 2-year-old toddler from Kentucky. USA Today reports. The young girl is named Isla McNabb, was quick to pick up the reading words, and her parents say soon she has been using plastic toy letters to identify things around the house. For example, spelling chair, front of a chair, or cat by using CAT. Her folks said that it's an aptitude test where she has scored 99 percentile for her age, qualifying her to be in the Genius Society. Her dad reportedly took a similar test when he was in second grade and qualified him for Mensa as well, but never formally joined. By the way, Mensa have clarified that there have been other 2-year-olds in the organization, but none as young as her. So, what do you think? It's kind of interesting thing, 2-year-old pulling that stuff off already. Good for them. Think about the knowledge base as that grows. And then at what point do you start talking about simulation theory in that particular regards? You can't bring that up to a 2-year-old. Can you? I mean, I don't know. Just saying that out loud. Anyways, Airbnb has made permanent their policies that bans parties at their units. Yeah, you heard me correctly there. The measure was instituted in August of 2020 amid COVID restrictions and complaints that houses were being used to host gatherings that defied local government regulations. Bookings were also limited to 16 guests. Now it's here to stay. With the caveat, a house can accommodate more than 16 guests if the house is big enough and has the beds to do the job. The change no longer has anything to do with the pandemic, but instead to limit the number of complaints over houses getting trashed than too many people come over. Last year, more than 6,600 users were booted from their accounts for violating that policy. Now, here's the fun part. I recently was out and about and stayed at an Airbnb. And it was amazing to see that at the particular area that I was at, you even had a restriction at what time of the day people could visit. You had like certain time and they had to be gone by X time. And I thought it was pretty interesting. And then it was like, nobody can spend the night here that is not listed on the reservation. Well, duh. I mean, I think that's kind of the gig. You would expect that. But it was just an interesting thing that it came about. That's something that it had to be considered and brought up. Anyways, before we get too far away, it's time to talk about some of the charts information. Top fiction and nonfiction currently on the New York Times bestsellers list. So let's go there and start talking about it. Number 5, according to the fiction category, Sparring Partners. And number 4, Where the Crawdads Sing. At number 3, Verity. And at number 2, It Ends With Us. And at the number 1 spot, The Hotel Nantucket. So there you go. If we were looking at the nonfiction category, it goes like this. The number 5 spot, The Body Keeps the Score. At number 4, Killing the Killers. At number 3, James Patterson. At number 2, I Like to Play Alone, Please. And at the number 1 spot, in the nonfiction book category, according to the New York Times bestsellers list, it goes like this. Battle for the American Mind. So there you go. That is what is rounding those things out. So there you go. Anyways, before we get too far away into the weeds, I think it might be time to bring in some John Smalls and let him tell us about what is going on in the market beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, June 29th, 2022. The rebound in equity markets reversed course Tuesday with the S&P 500 falling more than 2% at the low of the session. The move comes on growing fears of margin compression in Q2 and beyond that will result in downward revisions to earnings. Looking at the market from the perspective of earnings, the S&P 500 is valued on expectations of future earnings power, which means a downtrend in EPS outlook will result in a downtrending market. In that light, Tuesday's decline looks like a trend-following movement and one that could result in a new low very soon. The next catalyst for the market, other than unexpected news, will be the PCE price index Thursday. Even if the index were to cool or even decline, the outlook for inflation remains robust. Without some change to the fundamental outlook, the FOMC should be expected to hike rates by 75 basis points at both of the next 2 meetings. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know what is going on. The Dow lost about 491 points on Tuesday, while the S&P lost about 78.56 points, and the NASDAQ lost about 343 points. Both West Texas Intermediate and Brent crude are back over $110 a barrel. The average cost of a gallon of gas fell again to $4.88, and Bitcoin fell $489 on Tuesday, trading for $20,234 That's the way the game is played. So just in case, if you were wondering, that is what is going on inside of there. So let's talk about this because it is the talk of the town. So let's jump around and talk about it. Let's see. Two new bills have been proposed that will eliminate South Carolina's fatal heartbeat bill with the effect of stricter laws surrounding abortion. So let's get some information by having Rebecca Hughes tell us what's going on.
Two state lawmakers introduced a new bill to fully outlaw abortions and allow civil penalties in South Carolina. State Senators Richard Cash and Rex Rice want to make all abortions illegal without exemptions from criminal penalties in cases of incest or rape, according to WSOC-TV. The proposed measure would also make it unlawful to help someone have an abortion and make it illegal to take a pregnant minor who lives in South Carolina to another state to have an abortion. The bill must pass the Senate and House before heading to the governor's desk. I'm Rebecca Hughes.
Okay, so what do you think? A lot of stuff going on with that one. That is for sure. So what do you think with some of the changes going on there? What do you think will happen in other states? Your opinion on this, of course, matters. Anyways, in South Carolina, couple faces charges in death of 2-month-old child. Becoming party couple faces charges in connection with the death of their 2-month-old daughter. More about that. Take a listen.
Buncombe County Sheriff's deputies say they responded to the couple's house Tuesday on 4-wheel drive in the western part of the county. Authorities arrested and charged Nicholas Shane Stevenson with second-degree murder and negligent child abuse inflicting serious bodily injury. The child's mother, Deandra Haley Farlow, faces charges of felonious child abuse inflicting serious bodily injury. At this time, no other details about the case are being released. I'm Rebecca Hughes.
Okay, so there you go. Some information there for sure on what exactly is going on. Let's talk about some other things that are going around inside of this world. Data breach exposes California gun owners' personal information. Yes, the personal information of thousands of Californian gun owners might be in the hands of hackers after the data breach. Daniel Martindale has more info.
California Attorney General Rob Bonta recently launched a website designed to improve transparency about guns, but the Fresno County Sheriff's Office says hackers found a way into it and mined the personal information belonging to residents with concealed carry weapon permits. Information that was exposed between Monday night and Tuesday morning includes names, addresses, birth dates, and occupations. The website remains disabled. The State Attorney General's office says it's investigating. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Okay, thank you, Daniel, for letting us know what exactly is going on there. That's going to definitely be some conversations going on and see what happens as that news story continues to develop. Anyways, a 20-year-old has been hit and killed after falling onto a subway track. Police say that a woman was hit and killed on Tuesday night in Manhattan, had fallen onto the tracks moments before the train came roaring to the station. Noam Layden has more info.
Riders watched on in horror as a train barreled into the Grand Central subway station around 10:30 last night and hit and killed the 20-year-old woman who had just fallen onto the tracks. Cops are unsure what happened in the moments before that fall. The train's operator says he tried to brake in time but was unable to do so. Noam Layden, NBC News Radio, New York.
So that's information of what was going on in New York. Terrible information to even hear about something along those lines taking place. It is currently 29 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's continue talking about some other things that are going on. HUD Secretary continue tour of South Florida housing development. The U.S. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Marcia Fudge, will be visiting more housing developments in South Florida today. Fudge's 2-day tour is looking at the area's housing crisis.
We have neglected to keep up with supply, and that is why we are at the point we are today.
Fudge says that rents have also become a major issue in South Florida. The Biden administration says they're looking for ways to increase affordable housing supply and lower costs. Fudge is scheduled to visit another housing development in Opelika today and a homeless assistance center in Miami. Fudge is visiting Lauderdale Point, a HUD apartment complex for low-income families that are currently undergoing renovations.
It is so different when you are here and you see and you can talk to people and understand what people are feeling and thinking. It is important to us, it's important to the administration that we address the housing crisis.
So it's interesting to talk about it because, as you are aware, house house prices are astronomical at the moment. Additionally, rent prices are crazy. Like, just think about some of the aspects there. Think about it for a moment. If the average household is, let's say, for instance, paying somewhere close to $1,400 a month. Let's just use $1,500 a month. In regards of rental payment, what that ends up meaning is that they will more than likely have to pay somewhere close, or make somewhere close to $6,000 a month to be able to afford that, because you have to make 4 times the amount of what the rent actually is. So some things to think about as we are hanging. Anyways, take a listen to this one, because this one got strange quick. Vegan human flesh burger wins award. Yes, take a listen to this. A new vegan burger that tastes like human flesh is bringing home awards to the Cannes Lions Festival of Creativity. Mark Mayfield has more information on this one.
Complaints that vegan meat never tasted like beef have propelled a Swedish company to create a plant-based meat that instead tastes like human flesh. And it seems to be paying off. They took care to make the burger as lifelike as possible, using soy, mushrooms, wheat proteins, and a mystery spice mix. The company's brand leader said they were all very proud that their hard work is being rewarded, and they guaranteed that no humans were hurt in the making of their patties. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark, for that one. Anyways, we are running out right now, so take a look. It's 31 minutes past the top of the hour. So with that being said, I think it is time to do that thing that we do right around now. So let's go ahead and get into it right away, because that will be the best case scenario.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So let's start talking about it. Let's start talking about all of this stuff that we have the opportunity to discuss today that we did not have the opportunity to discuss yesterday or the day before, or even before that. And what am I talking about? Well, before I even get into what I'm talking about, let's talk about some of the stages that we've been through. So for years, we have taken a look to this lovely field of the things that we do that we call safety. And it's amazing to take a look around and go, wow, well, here is this science that is out there. And people say that if we're able to look at this lovely pyramid thing and talk about it, and we look at frequency rates and how they lead to catastrophic issues inside of the organizations, that must be right. We also take a look around and go, wow, looking at all of the stuff that is here, it is amazing to me that there is so much science behind of what is happening. And we can't talk about this because the science proves that. And it kind of got weird. You know what I'm talking about? So over the last, let's say, for instance, 40 years, using that as an example, or even earlier than that, depending if you do research on history, it's amazing on how you have to limit some of the belief systems and how things have evolved. You start taking a look at other aspects as they're moving forward. And as they move forward, things change. People's mindsets change. What people are talking about changes. But we have gotten into this weird realm all of a sudden. And this weird realm is a good realm and a strange realm all at the same time. And what am I talking about? Well, I want you to think about the era that we are currently in. We are in the reality safety era. And what does that mean? It's like, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, think about it. Nowadays, with the access of camera phones, the access of video equipment, the access of technology with you right there on the spot, you are able to do things in real time. And this is the interesting portion of what is going on with organizations and what is going on with what we do for work, is the access to providing information to others quickly. Doesn't take time now to sit back and give data and research data and change data. It is all about doing it instantaneously. Think about it real quick. Think about how a few years ago we would not be able to sit here and complain and talk about the things that we do not like in real time. to also talk about the stuff that we do like in real time. We also looked at it and said, okay, we have to go to organizational events to gain new data or knowledge about what is going on inside of the world. And realistically, that is not the case anymore. Realistically, now, if we want to see what is going out there on the field, as long as there is technology and internet signal available, some kind of data to be able to be provided, some kind of single signal connection, and we're able to plug into it, we're able to know things in real time. And this is where the change in the industry has come. Think about it. You still have all the information that you had from the past, but now you're able to do everything quicker. Now you're able to do everything right there as it's happening. Think about this. Affordability of technology in the past for the work that you and I do was not realistic in regard to being able to connect in an affordable sequence, not for most. And nowadays, we're able to sit here together with you being there on that other side and me being here on this side and have the exact same communication that we would have had in person. It's funny how those things change in time. But with that being said, it also has given us some aspects to be able to see things in real time that we would not be able to see before. So as you look at this and we get into this era, or we've been in this era, but as we continue to go down the road, how do you look at this? Because here's the fun part. This is the reality safety era now. How will it change? Now think about it. If you take a look at the last 2.5 years in particular, depending on where you stand, safety has been big in forefront on everything that's been going around in the world. Much bigger than it's been at any other point. So with that being said, what do you think will be the next change? I'm not asking you to be a future predictor, but what do you think it will be? And that's the thing about eras. Most of the times we don't expect changes to occur in the format that they do. We think that things will stay stagnant and move forward only in that format. That's not exactly how that goes. So with that being said, it's a lot to think about. And what do you think of the reality safety era? Because this is going to be a thing for a minute. And where do we go from here? Do you deem this as a good thing, or do you deem it as a bad thing? That's the stuff to think about today.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com for more information. Lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants. It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with Home Title Lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know
Our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
On the true equal logic, no matter what, we gon' swallow it. Trust no one, win everybody. Kill seen a kid with Bacardi and played her the sexiest model. He gon' tell us from the hardest. I got 22 steps left till I get to your doorstep. Will you let me rest my head for a moment? I'll let you sit on it. Make me forget.
Okay, here we go. 43 minutes past the top of the hour. This one's called I Hate the World and Everything. This is by Superintendent Mick Cupcakes. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Thanks to Superintendent Mick Cupcakes for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. So there you go, some Jamity Jam coming your way. So a lot of stuff going on inside of the world here for sure. Okay, let's get back into it. It is currently 44 minutes after, because it is that time to continue on and talking about what is going on inside of this lovely world of ours. So FMU's new Forestry and Environmental Sciences building to add 3 degree programs. Florence, South Carolina. One South Carolina university hopes the new programs will help reduce a workplace capable of protecting the PD's nearly 2 million acres of wetlands forest. Rebecca Hughes has more info.
Francis Marion University plans to build a new forestry and environmental sciences facility to house 3 new degree programs. The $18 million project is a continuation of the university's freshwater ecology complex, which opened earlier this year. The 3 new programs include degrees in environmental studies and environmental policy, with a degree in forestry coming in 2023. FMU's President Dr. Fred Carter tells WBTW the only other forestry degree in the state of South Carolina is at Clemson. I'm Rebecca Hughes.
Okay, so there you go. Some information going on right there. Take a listen to this one. 2 Mexicans charged after 51 migrants die in a hot truck. 2 Mexican men are facing charges of at least 51 migrants died inside of a truck that was abandoned in Texas. A heat wave. Mark Mayfield has more information about this story.
State officials said most of the 39 men and 12 women found in the semi-trailer in an industrial area on the outskirts of San Antonio were Mexican citizens. Authorities described stacks of bodies inside the tractor trailer, and others, some hot to the touch, had collapsed nearby. Immigration and Customs Enforcement called the scale of the tragedy unprecedented in the loss of life. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for the information of what exactly is going on inside of the world there. What else is going on inside of here? So let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about some other things. Let's do this real quick. New York City is trying to secure additional monkeypox vaccine. The New York City is trying to secure the monkeypox vaccine, and Trey Thomas wants to tell you all about it.
Mayor Eric Adams says the CDC sent doses to the city last Thursday.
They gave us 1,000. As soon as they gave us 1,000, we issued out 1,000.
The mayor says a seamless distribution is already in place for more vaccines when they arrive. The Biden administration is allocating almost 300,000 monkeypox vaccine doses. As of Monday, 48 people across New York City have tested positive for the virus. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey Thomas, for that one. Vietnam War victims and photographer reunite. It is the 50th anniversary of one of the most famous images from Vietnam War. Natalie Rodriguez has more information.
From Vietnam to Miami, the Thai, the 1972 photograph known as Napalm Girl, showing now 59-year-old Kim Phuc Von Thi running naked in the street after being burned in the attack.
He put down his camera and he rushed me to the nearest hospital.
Nick Ut is the photographer awarded the Pulitzer for capturing that moment.
And I get upset. I hope a media pass, media. If she died, my picture front page every newspaper tomorrow.
Phuc and Ut reunited at the Miami Dermatology and Laser Institute, where Phuc is receiving her last reconstructive laser treatment for pain caused by the injury suffered a half-century ago. The two say they're like family now and make it their life mission to spread a message of peace. Natalie Rodriguez, Miami.
Okay, thank you very much and letting us know what is going on there, because it is important to talk about all these things as we do move forward. Anyways, currently 48 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's get into it. Let me tell you the most important thing that you'll ever hear me speak about. So let's do that real quick. So taking it real quick from the top, let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local community whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to afsp.org. That's afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. So there you go. Some information there to share with you because it's all important to do so. Listen, I know that sometimes people go, you talk about this a lot because it's so important to talk about. We cannot do what we do in this world without you because everybody's here to play their part. And I know life gets difficult. I know that some things can happen and change the way that you think about things. And this is the reason why we talk about it. So before you do anything else, let's make sure that we call that number. It's so important to do so, or even go to their website, or even do the little text thing. You can just find out information to know exactly what is going on, because that is going to be super important. Let's continue talking real quick about some things that are going on out there inside of the world. Exchange change. Yes, there we go. Things are tough all over. How tough? Well, some stores are considering the unthinkable, paying you to keep the items that you plan to return. What now? Yeah, you heard me correctly. Bear with me. It starts to sort of make sense. In a recent week, some of the biggest U.S. retail chains, including Target, Walmart, Gap, American Eagle, have reports that they have too much inventory, ranging from workout clothes to spring jackets and hoodies to garden furniture and kids' toys. And it's costing them tons of money to store it. and returned merchandise only adds to the storage problem. So stores are considering just handling customers, handing customers their money back and letting them hang on to stuff that they don't want. How does this work? In cases where a company determines that the item costs or the item a customer is returning would cost more to store, restock, or refurbish, they would advise the customer just to keep it or donate the return. It still will give them the money back. Reportedly, some companies are 100% considering keep it return policy for later this year. But the reason that I return stuff is because it's either broken or I don't want it. I'm already creating a keep it as return exchange Facebook page because that's going to be the next best thing. So then, of course, the question is going to come about of how many people are going to, in return, turn around and say, hey, listen, this is the stuff that we're going to do during this particular time frame. In regards that, hey, I'm going to return something when I really have the intention of keeping it. You know, I say that and people go, well, that's not right. Well, I'm going to tell you, I know it's not right, but it's some things that will end up happening. Call it.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Alyssa. Khalil Gibran said, "A man's true wealth is the good he does in the world." I love that, and I agree with it. I know wealthy people who give back to their community and to the world. Their lasting impact will be these things. Sure, they made some sort of difference in business too, but the big difference will most likely be these extra things that they wanted to do for their community and for the world around them. These will be the things that they fondly remember. Most of us will not look back and say, I wish I would have been in more meetings. But we may say, I wish I would have helped a little more when I could have. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. Resetting your sleep and wakefulness rhythms can be done very fast if done right. Beautiful studies by Dr. Kenneth Wright of University of Colorado show that exposure to natural light around sunrise and sunset for 2 days is very effective in creating a long-lasting reset for circadian rhythms, alertness, sleep, and for hormones such as melatonin and cortisol. These are not small effects. People often ask how long they need to view sunlight at these times, and really the answer depends on how much cloud coverage there is. But in general, it's 10 to 30 minutes. Don't stare directly into the sun, of course. Try not to wear sunglasses for these 10 to 30 minutes, but eyeglasses or contact lenses are fine, even if they have UV protection. For more information on wellness, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 53 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and talking on this lovely. Anyways, fly in the sky idea. People have been left against by the video demonstrating a potential AI piloted aircraft that would never land. The concept of the Sky Cruise is basically a giant flying hotel that boasts 20 nuclear powered engines that would have the capacity to carry 5,000 passengers. The epitome of luxury suspended in the high above clouds. Berlin-based designer Gaslim Al-Ghali calls the aircraft future as a future transport of explaining that the conventional airline would be a ferry for passengers to go in from Sky Cruise, which would, never touch the ground and would be all repairs carried out on the flight. A greatly detailed video also promises restaurants, a giant shopping mall, a gym, theaters, and swimming pools all in the sky. Sky Cruise also features panoramic halls offering breathtaking 360-degree views outside. Promises that there will be no air turbulence, jet lag, or motion sickness. When asked about many pilots it would take to fly the Sky Cruise, the designer responded, all the technology that you would still want pilots. I believe it will be fully autonomous. So there you go. Judging by that, I'm guessing that an AI voice for the video too. And it sounds great, but it's just one zombie gets loose. What the hell happens up there? So some stuff to think about for sure as we are talking. Here's the other fun part. Did you never watch the movie Passengers? Because it sounds very plot like Passengers. Just want to throw that out there. Just some stuff to think about because you don't want the ooey gooey later on about some things that are happening and then go, hey, didn't we already live this in a movie? I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know. What the hell am I talking about? Anyways, no winner for Monday night's Powerball drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for a $365 million jackpot or a $207.5 million cash payout. What else? What else do we have? I did mention the Howard Stern thing. So I almost feel like I owe you that. So Howard Stern says that he wants to run for president so he can fix the country. The problem is that most presidents is that they have too big of an agenda. He said on his Sirius XM radio show this week that the only agenda that I would take to make the country fair again. He continued. Stern also blasted former President Donald Trump in the Supreme Court's recent ruling and that he would get rid of the Electoral College. So there you go. Some things to talk about, of course, is that back in 1994, Stern ran for New York governor, but dropped out after being required to share personal finances. Tossing his name into the ring for the 2024 would require sharing that and more. So there you go. Also worth noting, the president has no ability to abolish the Electoral College. Doing so would require changing in the Constitution, which would also be years long in process. Also, he did state that, but this is not in this news story for some reason. And final thoughts is nothing is stopping Stern from making things more fair and have not so dominating. So being in put his portion into being nominated. It would be interesting to see if he decides to run for it and what the hell exactly would happen. That is for sure as we are talking. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2020, Golden State killer and former police officer Joseph DeAngelo Jr. pleads guilty to 13 counts of first-degree murder and more than 50 rapes, which he committed in 1970s to the 1980s through the state of California. DeAngelo was arrested in 2018 after DNA from a crime scene matched the generic material from relative registered in a genealogy site. He would also later receive 11 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Another life sentence, an additional 8 years. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about real quick some birthdays that are going on real quick. Nicole Scherzinger turns 44, Richard Lewis turns 75, and Gary Busey turns 78. That's just jumping around telling you some of those. If you're looking for some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those for you as well. National Parchment Day, National Almond Butter Crunch Day, National Camera Day, National Waffle Iron Day, and International Mud Day. All days that you can celebrate if you're so inclined to do so. If you need a random joke for today, I have one of those for you. The only thing that I know about money matters is that money matters. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. Which morning ritual can you absolutely not skip without ruining your whole day? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. Over 40% of us say we do this when we're angry. What is it? Eat ice cream. Shit, so maybe you should be angry all the time. I don't know. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen to what the hell we have going on here today on the Rated R Safety Show. We definitely could not do this show without you, the most important part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. If I can't leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. If you do not tell the truth about yourself, you cannot tell the truth about other people. Think about that. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Trust no one when everybody kissing the kid with Bacardi and paid her the sexiest model. He gon' say what's wrong